Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chongqing Major CIS Qualifiers. You thought these teams were out, they weren't. They lost some games, but they're back. Gambit eSports versus Team Empire. Hope in this scenario. I'm KillerPigeon, your ever faithful host and companion. And once again on the mic joining me is the one and only stat monster, but now also not only panelist, but becoming analyst, and he doesn't realize it, but eventually it'll be one of his main career points. Nahaz.
Wow, do you want to be my agent now, man? I have an opening there. No, this is going to be an interesting series. It is a rematch from the opening series of this particular tournament, the group phase, and it's funny to me because this is an Empire Hope team that really nobody expected anything from, and they opened up the group phase at this event with a 2-0 loss to this same Gambit eSports squad, and everybody said, okay, expected that. And then suddenly they turned around and they won 4 straight games against Winstrike and Navi, the latter of which eliminated Navi from the event. So yeah, this could be a very interesting series, and we are going to see what I think are a couple of the most broken heroes in Dota right now. We saw Naive yesterday destroy in 4 straight games on the Phantom Assassin and Rubik. I think that Arcane Supremacy is absolutely disgusting. There was a tweet yesterday. So Thompson apparently has been playing a lot of mid Rubik, and it has been discovered that if you max lift and you max Arcane Supremacy, you can buy a Meteor Hammer, and your lift is enough to set up a guaranteed stun from the Meteor Hammer. So that is a ridiculous amount of guaranteed lockdown on this hero. Status resistance is broken, kids.
That's painful to even think about. But yeah, I think you're right. Like, it's kind of going a long way to show, right? Like, Gambit, they kind of got their asses handed to them on the back of this PA pick. They come in straight away today after ignoring it themselves completely. So far, they go, okay, we're going to first pick that.
Yeah, and on the other side, Lich, I think, is also very strong. We talked about that hero yesterday. I think at any point in the past, if you'd have told pro players, we're going to take Lich, we're going to take this Lich hero, and we're going to give them a hard disable, they would have said, okay, that's first phase material. And that's exactly what happened in this patch. And they did it by removing Sacrifice, but the trick is his Frost Shield is now, it's pretty much an active ability, trades very well in lane, it's very mana efficient, so it offsets the idea that you're no longer getting this constant mana stream in from the Sacrifice. I think Lich is going to be a mainstay, first phase pick ban material throughout this patch.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting the way that Dota has actually developed in terms of approach to lane for heroes, right? Like, previously, you go back 2 years, it was very clear what things you would skill, right? Lich was a perfect example of one of those heroes. It's very rare you'd ever take the Frost Armor. It's usually about Sacrifice and Frost Blast. They've just basically reworked that hero to the extent where any of his skills have viability in the laning phase.
Yeah, I like that as a point, and I really like that about individual heroes. I think that that's part of what talents have done to the game is they've sort of facilitated the idea that every hero should have multiple builds. And I mean, Lich was one of those heroes for a long time that you really only saw him built one way, and you really saw him only played one way. I mean, if you were playing a Lich in a 50-minute game, you're pretty much AFK in base, come out, hit Chain Frost, go back. And especially because, the ability of supports to push right now, the ability of supports to clear waves, and all of a sudden it's your support on the map clearing the wave. He's the one that's getting ganked by these enemy rotations in the late game. That's a net win for you because you're able to push out creep waves with very little risk. Sacrifice was like completely counter to that. Now Lich can actually do that a little bit, and it just opens him up as a hero throughout the course of the game.
You know what we call that? We call that the Jakiro mentality. I'm going to go out this lane, slap it down, probably die, but don't worry, I've shoved the lane, guys. Tank the game at the same time.
That's a big deal, and that's why you saw in the last couple of weeks, you've seen 4-position Lina come back, is because 4-position Lina can be out there and she can be pushing waves, and the enemy team rotates and ganks her, and that's fine. They just spent 2 or 3 heroes to rotate to gank your 4-position Lina. That's a win.
Yeah, because like on the other side of the map, because you've just taken all that aggro, your carries go, okay, I can actually farm here without risk of being jumped. They're way too far away. I can get 1 or 2 waves, 1 or 2 camps, and then back off. Okay. That's another hero that can apply some pressure, not just shove, but also take towers. The Shaman coming out.
Yeah, I think you got to be really careful, though. I think Shadow Shaman right now is really strong with Rubik on his team. I think he's really risky against Rubik because All of his spells are stuff that Rubik can steal. Remember that if you steal even Hex, for example, that Hex is also going to benefit from Arcane Supremacy. So yeah, I think this Shadow Shaman is going to have a very difficult game. He's going to need to manage the spells that he's giving up to the Rubik very carefully.
It's going to be interesting to see his combo. I imagine it's likely Lich plus Magnus. You could do Shaman plus Magnus as well with the Empower, though. It would be a decent way of dealing with the Undying, potentially. So I'm not sure. I assume they're going to go PA Rubik, but you want the Undying to counter the Magnus, right?
Okay, so that's something that we should talk about, right? That a lot of teams, and the first one I saw do it in a competitive game was actually, I believe it was TNC that ran Cuckoo as an offlane position Shadow Shaman, and they've done that a couple times now. So Shadow Shaman is being run as the sort of 3-position core, and I think that that's really cool. I think it actually does okay, surprisingly, against an Undying itself, because the Shadow Shaman can actually, it's short range, but it can trade really well. Those right clicks hurt in the early game, and they can actually control, let's say, not necessarily zone out, but control this Undying who's ordinarily just going to be sitting on the creep wave spamming his spells.
No, that's fair. Another team that did play the Shaman course, it was Pasha, I believe, for VP with his infamous interesting war placements more than anything. But yeah, no, there is this transition. Earlier this year, I remember MV especially trying to play Shaman as a 1 or a 2. We won't talk about that.
Well, yeah, I was more referring to the team that did it successfully, and I think it's a big difference, right? Running Shadow Shaman as a 3. I mean, we saw, for example, Shadow Demon run as a 3 yesterday. We've seen that as far back as VP, and Pasha was experimenting with that like a year ago. And I think Shadow Shaman as the viable Shadow Shaman core configuration right now is a lot closer to that than it is something like what Envy tried, running in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think it's also to do with the flexibility of the mid. There's this gradual progression towards the mid now going back to this kind of initiation tempo control role, as opposed to this second carry farm role, right? Like it's so, whereas it used to be your 3 would definitely be something like the Brewmaster, the Beastmaster, any hero that can make things happen. You can now relegate that to the second, and then your offlaner is kind of like a rich support that really enables you in that early mid game, which, as we talked about yesterday, the tempo of the game is increased, right? The speed at which things happen is much faster.
I'm going to be very interested to see what they do with this Doom. I think, obviously, the Doom is somebody that can just take the Magnus out of the fight, which is very, very nice. Doom, though, does not play nearly as well against PL. And remember that Doom got a little bit of a change. Scorched Earth no longer heals. So while it does do a little bit more damage, and obviously at higher levels has the decreased cooldown, Doom is no longer this hero that just has ridiculous sustain in lane.
I mean, to an extent, right? Like, it was interesting, the change, because I found, like, Scorched Earth, it used to be this, it was your escape mechanism, but it was also your heal mechanism. It was pretty counterintuitive. Right.
I mean, it was sort of a 2-for-1 deal, and as long as you could manage the cooldown, right, you could pretty much determine, you had long periods of time where you just were not going to be vulnerable in lane.
And that's kind of the fair point. It's like, once you use that, you activate that to run away, it's like, okay, I just have to hang back. But with the change, I've heard a lot of people say, like, you get your second item on Doom, you become unkillable. You basically can't be killed because the regen from the Devour, and
sure,
it's kind of, I think the thing that was said a long time ago with Doom is, it's a strong pick if you find a Satyr very early on, right? Like, you just get that health regen, you win. But now, it's built in by default, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little weird. So I'm gonna have to see it played is the big thing, because you do get 5 HP regen per second while that first level Devour creep is being consumed is a big deal. But it also means that you have Devour at level 1, right? And it also means that you're sort of dependent on being able to go and dip into the jungle and grab one of those camps, which I guess is probably not a big deal. But again, you're not gonna be able to sort of get one ability and like hold on to that Dark Troll Summoner net. Okay, this is a formula I really like that we saw yesterday. It's a very old formula in Dota where you have your sort of stud skirmisher in the PL, and then you have this safe lane carry position player in the Lone Druid that can apply just constant. It's not passive pressure, but he can apply constant split push pressure around the map. And even if you get hard countered in the mid lane, right, he can even go mid. And right now, you probably guess that the Lone Druid might be in the mid position.
Well, that's an interesting way for Gambit to round it out. So they're actually going for the Timber mid.
Yeah, I'm not certain about this. I really am nervous about Timbersaw because of the Bloodstone rework. Because, over long periods of time, pocket deny. When you look at these heroes like a Timbersaw, like a Storm Spirit, that were your sort of mandatory first item Bloodstone heroes. These pocket deny was sort of balanced in to what these heroes give, because when they snowball, they're going to be over leveled. They're going to give a lot of XP when they kill you. Now, the XP change, the movement of the XP bonuses from based on team XP lead to kill streaks might offset that a little bit. But if Timbersaw plays like Timbersaw is used to playing, he's going to be aggressive. He's going to be in the middle of fights. He's going to be giving up deaths. And now that he no longer has the ability to pocket deny himself with that Bloodstone, I think it's going to hurt. Yeah, I actually wonder. I wonder if you're going to see Bloodstone sort of worked out of a lot of these Timber builds.
It's kind of, you have to look at Timbersaw as it's not like one of these chickens kept in a coop, right? That you definitely know when you're going to kill it, whatever. You let him kind of go free in the wild. It's like a deer, right? Roaming around the woods. You let him get fat and plump. After about 20 minutes, you come in and you just stick an arrow in him. You kill him, and the reward is insane, right? It is. It is that type of hero. It's just like
you're fattening him up for the slaughter, huh? Now it's a simple point, but it bears mentioning. You just pick Timbersaw, and there's only one strength hero on the opposite team. So I mean, it's a lot of the value of Timbersaw is the ability to do that extra damage from the Whirling Death stat steal, dipping into that strength pool. And really, Magnus is the only one that's going to be particularly vulnerable to that.
It looks like the Timber's not going to be going mid, though. They're sticking him in their safe lane, and it will be the PA mid. They've learned from what viscerated them yesterday, which was, of course, the PA mid.
I mean, he's still going to get off to a much larger lead. The problem is that this, depending on what they do to lock down this bottom lane, the Undying, Vanskor look like he's kind of deciding where to go here. This Timbersaw can actually really suffer now in these 1v2 lanes. He really needs level 3. He needs to get that reactive armor up and running to be that beefy 1v2, 1v3 hero that we've seen in metas past.
It's kind of like, when you think of this hero, he's always wanted solo XP. For a while, people thought he was going to make this huge resurgence when we had the solo offlaning a lot. But it just wasn't to be, because people realize you get starved out, the way the XP mechanics are working right now, previously with denies. And when we're back to 2-on-2s primarily, I think you're right. Like, he needs to be left alone. But then you're basically having a tri-lane that I don't think it has that much kill potential.
Yeah, I don't know. These Gambit, it looks like their lanes are a little bit awkward in the beginning. I think if they get to like 3 to 5 minutes and they're looking pretty good, that these lanes could become very strong. But like you said, for that very reason, I kind of worry about the first few levels here, and whether or not they're going to be able to get off to that strong start that a lot of their individual heroes require.
In the mid, that looks like a win on the block for Empire. So that means the hack is going to be close to harassment easily.
Yeah, I'm going to be spending a lot of my time watching this mid lane, because I have not seen much of this matchup, the PA versus Lone Druid. I think the Lone Druid should do very, very well.
In theory, it's like, yes, you've got the blur, but it's 2 targets, so it should even out on the damage done. Meanwhile, the bot lane should be the one where you'll see a lot of heavy trading going on, just because, of course, you are going to have an empowered Shaman. And Rubik getting low in the top lane is going to go down.
Whoa, okay.
They abandoned the tri-lane logic. They heard us.
Oh my. Well, that really hurts. I mean, it hurts because of the two teams, right? Gambit are the one that really needs to get off to the fast start.
And that was without having a level in Frost Shield yet. Once the Lich gets that, just think about the rundown with the Phantom Rush. It's actually insane how quickly we can get on top of them and kill them off. Well, we said about this Doom and what he started with. He did go with the Devour. It will allow him to stay alive easier. But because he didn't have that Infernal Blade, they weren't intimidated at all. Hence why they went on Rubik. More bot. Vanscore's taking a lot of damage here. Could be fine. We'll get into the trees. Then I'll go chase too hard.
I mean, you're an Undying. This is what you do, right?
Hey, he's closer to the edge than he'd like to be. That's for sure.
It is sort of, I mean, it kind of worked out, right? Because when you look at this bottom lane, you got 2 level 2s against 2 level 1s, at least for one wave. And that can make a big difference, right? This Timbersaw is going to be able to... Oh, okay. Doesn't deny the range creep. All right.
Doom? Chased on the tower and killed there. That... Power of Lich, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, this is disaster.
His Devour hadn't even ran out yet.
Well, and you're the flip side of that, what we were just talking about, is you end up with this very, very awkward Doom Rubik dual lane. I mean, this is not the situation that you want to be in against a very, very strong dual lane of PL and Lich.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty damn worrying. It's just like Rubik can reduce the damage, but a lot of that damage is actually going to come out from Lich's spells, not the right.
PA's killing it, though. PA's real. I mean, I'm telling you, this hero, all right. If I didn't buy into this hero after yesterday, yeah, right.
What, you didn't go offline and buy some stocks? Lich just denied himself tier 2 in the meantime?
Yeah, you know, I don't mind that play. That's a I'm gonna try and snipe your courier, and if I don't, it's a free TP back to base.
Yeah, he was out of mana anyway, so it's not the worst time to do that.
Exactly. You don't have that sacrifice anymore.
Speaking of out of mana, but never actually really gonna run out, there is Vanskool with his quadruple manga.
I mean, that's what you got to do, right?
I mean, especially against the Magnus. I always talk about this, like, when you play Undying, you want to be against the strength hero because it's not just reducing their health, it's reducing the damage. Just double gains.
I mean, and what just happened in the top lane is really significant. I mean, you always got to watch Rubik early on, and I mean, if he's having to use that lift defensively in lane, like that's 125 mana that you just use basically just to get them off your core.
And instead, they're going to go on King R here. Frost Shield comes out. It's going to slow down King R. Tries to lift him away. Is that enough? Gang 40 gets right on top of him. And it looks like Dream's just going to run him down and finish him off. Meanwhile, Magnus does fall in the bot lane. As Seiyu can do nothing to help his core.
Yeah, I mean, you're just... Okay,
Dream?
okay. Here's the damage, right?
Kulich? No. No, the Scorched Earth ran out.
Oh, but he gets his salve canceled.
Don't worry.
Okay, that's as good as a kill, really. Oh, no. All right. Lich had it. Oh, yeah. There you go. There's your support, being a bro.
Archangel's 2 steps ahead. Right? He knows what's going on here. He expects the worst. But this can maybe change a little bit once you get about level 3 with the Doom and the Rubik. If this doesn't happen, Frost Shield's coming out again. Rubik gonna go for the lift. Actually onto the illusion. They're gonna keep on chasing the damage.
This Lich hero.
Oh, the South coming out from King R just in time. We'll be fine. But yeah, Lich is insane. And while that's happening, dying.
Dying, wow.
Oh, wow. Say you got the kill.
Yeah, and that's the Shadow Shaman against the Undying. I mean, that's those right clicks, man. That hurts all of a sudden. I mean, you're used to, you know, Rasta is one of these prototypical like low movement speed, squishy int supports that you are used to being able to bully as an Undying. And all of a sudden, you're walking up to that hero in lane and you're getting crushed.
All right, looks like PL be fine. He was skirting a little bit close to the edge, but they don't have enough damage to Soul Rip. Interestingly enough, Vanskool did not go for 2 points in Soul Rip despite being against a PL in lane.
What?
Yeah, he went for the double point in decay. That's...
Ew.
I don't think you get the value out of that. I genuinely think Soul Rip's 10 times better here.
That's kind of a poopy build. I don't know. These guys know better than me.
Hey, this is the man that didn't have boots for 20 minutes, all right? He's next level in the Undying, and as a result, they get a kill on the Lich.
That kill is fine. It's not, you know, not nothing, but it's not great. The big thing is that the PL lives. He's going to be able to pull the wave over this camp. His progression is not the big thing that you need to watch with these carry lanes, right? Is, you know, forget about all the noise, right? Forget about all the skirmishes. Is the carry's progress being interrupted? Is the farming carry being forced to waste time by what's happening in lane? That's a good example of something that's not especially significant because the farming carry is still able to do stuff. And now this is a great rotation by the Shadow Shaman. They should get a kill off.
Kulich trying to move away. The Shackle should be there to hold him in place. The Frost Shield doing a lot of damage as well, but he's regen up decently from the Devour. They slow him down again. There's a lift from King R point. They're going to turn around. Lich, he's too far forward. There's a shot coming out. Going to turn around and Vanskool. If he gets the decay off, they actually have to cancel and run away now. They'll turn around. Seiyu's low. They just need one club, but can they get it? Going to run him down. Fade ball out. Double kill for the Rubik. Dream all alone now. Now he's going to be interrupted.
That was a really good play, but it's unfortunate because I really like that TP rotation.
Vanskool living life on the edge there. That was unneeded.
They did not. They sort of lost track of the Rubik a little bit there.
And now
look where this Timber Saw is too. This is where Timber really reaches his sort of maximum annoyance level. He's got a 1-level lead on the Magnus. He's able to play behind the tier 1 tower, and they have to bring another hero to this lane to address this somehow.
They also on top, just to, like nothing to highlight, is because it was a double creep wave. They're gonna get it pushing back towards them on the side of Gambit, and well, that's usually the downside to having a Rubik in your lane, is the Fade Bolts always push it towards your opponent. So in this scenario, they can actually eat up the XP, maybe get to level 6. And he has, like, have you seen this from Agulish? He's not even bothering to get creeps in the jungle anymore. He just wants the regen and devour on cooldown.
I honestly, I think that's how you have to play Doom now, right? And if you can play Doom this way, you're basically getting almost the regen that it's the same net regen that you used to get from Scorched Earth, but it's just constant.
True. Half a Ninja just being skewed back a little bit, but no assistance from tower this time, folks, seeing as you allowed the Timber to take your tower.
Here mid, they should be able to get a kill onto the Lone Druid, and if they do, that's a level 7 hero here, guys.
Oh, they're chasing in. Agri actually goes onto the bear instead, but the root coming out. Orange is in their favor. In fairness, the backup plan was the Shaman from the high ground with Shackles.
Yeah, it was a nice save, and also I think the PA needed to be a little bit. She needed to position herself to the lower right a little bit more in anticipation of that gank. I think she could have done that without tipping the Lone Druid off too, given the position of the waves.
I think it's also interesting to kind of highlight the interaction between Shaman and heroes like Lone Druid. Is when you bring free hero, like 2 sports in your core to try and gank a Lone Druid. Shaman, the whole concept of this hero is if he's outnumbered, he's not very effective because he shackles, right?
Right.
But you've got
the whole thing that you're trying to do with Rasta is you're trying to trade, right? You're trying to trade your shackles for a more farmed hero, locking him down. That is a huge mistake where PL is actually going to get a kill onto the Undying.
Yeah, that shouldn't be happening. The Undying's position, VanScore's positioning so far, not just his skills, as we would question no extra points saw it. It's been interesting to watch, shall we say. Like, he's been a little bit too aggressive, I think. But you have to be on this hero. That's the problem with picking on Undying, right? If you come to the laner phase and you're sitting back going, it's okay, guys. You know, you just do what you want. I'll hang back here. Then you're playing the hero totally wrong.
And again, when you talk about these CIS games, right, it's easy to just sort of, it's fun. I mean, it's fun to watch it. It's fun to cast, but it's easy to sort of get lost in all the morass of kills and skirmishes. You know, they've devoted quite a bit of attention from the tri lane at the beginning to a lot of other rotations that they've done in trying to shut down this PL. And he's sitting there comfortably 3rd in network ahead of your mid PA.
Bottom MYS hits the RP to protect the PL. The Doom is completely wasted. And he'll TP out MYS on point.
Great play. That is a perfect use of the level 1 ultimate there by the Magnus.
Perfectly on point.
Entirely worth it.
I mean, Dream was even thinking about going back in. He was just waiting to see what came of that. Now, Dream's going to be forced by
VanScore. Now, don't do this.
He can't. The Tombstone got committed. He can farm that at least, so he'll get some gold. But, you know, be careful with the runes.
One of the neat hidden things about the map changes in patch 7.20, the introduction of all these new levels and staircases is actually a pretty substantial buff to Doppelganger. And a lot of these repositional abilities that you can use to get onto high ground. You saw that there. That is not a spot of the map where necessarily PL would have been able to get onto high ground that easily.
Yeah, there's a lot of heroes that benefit in different ways. Some like these choke points, such as Tusk, Pangolier, another perfect example. Not only getting buffs to his passive, but also the map changes benefiting him, really. But I think the interesting part right now is board placements. Is people still trying to get grips with it, right? Like, you know, around the mid towers, that's kind of obvious, but other than that, it's very hard to know where the good board placements are right now. Uh-oh. The hack getting pretty low here. We'll be able to use the blow to escape, but VanScore won't be so lucky.
Man. I like the way that Kodos is reacting on his Lone Druid. He's been getting a lot of attention mid, and he's just sort of been totally comfortable playing on 30 to 40% HP, backing, waiting for the reinforcement to come in from his team, and still being a part of the response, and at least forcing the enemy team back, and in a couple cases getting these turnaround kills.
It's a very different style to Lone Druid. Like yesterday, I think this was Sealer playing Lone Druid. It was just kind of like farm. You're a backup in the late game.
Wow.
And in this game, it's all about just distracting them away from the PL.
And you ask, why is he able to do this? Look at that build. 4 Wraith Bands and Strength, and he had, until a second ago, his Power Treads on Strength on that hero. This is an incredibly tanky hero at this level.
True, with a lot of armor as well against the PA. It's really the only person who can try and deal with him is Timber, but Timber's not a hero that tends to get kills unless it's you making a mistake or someone backing him up.
Why on earth did they change this Wraith Band? That's insane. All right,
but they nerfed it, Alan. They took one attack speed away. That'll fix the problem, right?
Sure they did. Sure they did. That's exactly right. What was I thinking?
It's not like you get attack speed from agility anyway.
And they're gonna make me turn in my Icebrog fanboy membership cards.
Oh, Alpha Ninja? They brought the Chain Frost here. Won't bounce through. Doomsday gets dropped. Alpha Ninja get low. Fear too late. He will get the Timber Chain away. Turn around and advance score. At least get a kill into him. And they can clear up the Tombstone as well.
That's 20 stacks of reactive there, buddy. You're not going to do anything. And that's a nice little injection of gold.
Yeah, they'll take the gold that Undying offers. This is always the frustration about Undying, and it gets worse as he goes on and gets his talents. For support, he can give over a lot of gold.
Boy, and I know Gambit can't see this, but the net worth distribution is a little bit alarming to me right now. I mean, they're not huge leads, but your two farming cores on the side of Empire are exactly where you want them to be.
It's true. You're going to have a lot of issues in the next 10 minutes, especially once the diffusal's picked up by the PL, who does have
PL
two
should
blades.
have that diffusal, and he should have that diffusal at around 15 minutes, which is a great timing in a game like this. This lone druid. Yeah, I like the fact that look at what this item is going to be on the lone druid, right? Forget this radiance. You're going to go stat build right into that damage item.
Such a fast hero to begin with. You can actually really easily exploit this. I think it was Daedalus as the choice that the last lone druid we saw was going for.
Yep, it's all range. We used to think about the lone druid as the bear build versus the range build. It's all the range build.
Oh, no, they root Timber.
A little bit of a lucky
is going to come out, but there's a Doom straight. I want to say you. That's not a good one. They can't actually reach him. Timber chain through. Try and slow him down, try and sidestep. Say might go down here, but you commit a Doom onto a Shaman. Actually, they might still deny him here. Quite easily, in fact. There we go. An Ninja still being chased onto, but he should escape. No, they commit the RP. They say you're not leaving here alive. The Chain Frost thrown out to ensure it.
Yeah, so I actually don't mind the Doom onto the Shaman there. That like, if you look at the hero that has the most actives that you want to take away that was in that fight, I mean, make an argument that it was the Shaman. It was the committing to engage on an area of the map that is very, very dangerous to Radiant to fight if you don't have vision. That lower right side of the Dire mid, their side of the river, that's extremely dangerous if you don't have a ward somewhere. There are just a lot of juke spots that they can use to disengage and re-engage.
I think the way to look at it is from Doom's perspective, it was the perfect Doom target, but he got baited into it. Was a reactionary Doom. It wasn't proactive.
Sure. Understood.
And it's like, that's the worst thing you can actually do in that start. Oh, that sentry. Just as the ward runs out. The Bears just trying to get them off this, but obviously he does actually get the rune. There we go.
Oh,
nice change, by the way, allowing Bears to pick up runes. It was a while back.
Oh, what?
We haven't really seen it before.
Are you sucking up the Bulldog right now?
No.
Is that what's happening?
That's sarcasm. Okay, my people and
okay, thank you. I hated that. I was so triggered by that change.
Especially when you have a way of scaring people off said rune.
Yes.
As we just saw there, 3 different heroes.
Yeah, and you didn't have to talk to Bulldog like right after that change. Oh my god, he was so happy.
Until you told him offlane Druid isn't a thing anymore. Just scram.
No, I don't tell Bulldog anything.
You just sigh and walk away.
That's right. He says runes, and you're like, okay.
There we go. Oh, looks like they're going to be chased through Dream, using that diffuser well. And can he actually kill him? Those questions. Yes, they can. Shockwave through from MYS. Now, going to turn around and get the kill on the PL instead.
Yep, and again, that is a 2-for-1 trade that, as the race, you are delighted with. That's the end of a kill streak. You get the nice little XP bonus from that. You now have your no accident. A couple seconds later, you have your your PA leapfrog him in net worth.
Yeah, this
but
PA.
Again,
you said you don't like to see this, Alan. It's a battle fury.
It is not my favorite build in this particular game. You know what though? I think I may have. I actually went and watched that replay yesterday. I think I may have been a little bit harsh there because remember in the past when we were talking about Battle Fury PA, the Battle Fury PA didn't have 3 or 4 Wraith bands. Like I mean, when you have like 4 Wraith bands, I think Battle Fury is fine. You're not getting that much up. And it's this. Look at this lone druid, by the way. Like this lone PA has to be scared of this lone druid. This is 4 Wraith bands, treads, and MKB. this Lone Druid is going to be able to burst down this PA with physical damage fairly easily, as the Shaman gets a nice kill onto his support counterpart.
Yeah, they kill off King R. But I think it's interesting to bring up the MKB because everyone's going to think about the PA and how it deals with that. It's not just the PA in this game. You get double value because of the Timber Saw. We said about the reactive armor.
Sir.
You got a way of dealing with them now because, of course, that damage goes through that armor.
Well, yeah. Okay,
It's magical damage, right? So it's like Timber Saw's all about this tankiness through dealing with right clicks and that being physical.
No, yeah, it's a fair point. The proc damage, and it's a 75% proc rate. So yeah, all right, I'll take it. I like that point.
All right. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, they did actually commit the wards for the tier 2. They are going to try and force Gambit back, but Gambit know the importance of getting this tier 1. Can they get it though?
You really have to have this.
Kodos, gonna get it. Oh no!
Oh, it was close. It was close.
He'll move away in time though, and there'll be a little bit of chip damage on the tier 3 bot.
They're going to commit the tombstone for that, which I think is a perfectly reasonable decision.
I mean, they had to. They knew he was lingering around the moment there's this bear swinging. Like, hold on a sec, that should be disarmed. Unless, of course, somehow you've got a GPM talent now in Lone Druid that enables him to get an Ags 18 minutes. Once again, Bulldog is just listening and thinking of ideas to give over to Ice Rock.
Oh my God! Please no! Please no!
I don't really talk too much with Hemrick, but I'm trying to imagine how he was
actually
about...
a fantastic dude. Like he is a lot of fun to banter with, like on and off panel. As long as I don't have to watch him in a freaking Alliance T-shirt talking about how Lone Druid and Nature's Prophets are the best heroes in the game at every land. But that's a side discussion. More important, Timbersaw does have that Bloodstone now. He does have his 25% XP gain talent that's kicking in, so he's back up to level 14 and is going to be one of the highest levels in the game for the rest of the match duration here.
But as you said in the draft, the way the Bloodstone works now, no deny mechanic.
Yeah.
This is a problem because when you get more XP, you're going to feed more over when you die.
Well, no, that's the thing. The offsetting change is that the XP bounty mechanics were changed. So unless he's on this big long kill streak, it's not going to be quite as bad. But yeah, you still do have to worry about that.
And while Dream just pushing in the top, and Power makes him a strong
Magnus
boy.
This is a nice calculated move by Magnus there. So he shows himself, and he's got a couple heroes smoked behind him. So
Dream. Shadowblade up here. Oh, there's the RP coming through, dragging them in, and the Chain Frost follow-up. They get rid of the Doom, and eventually they'll get rid of Alpha Ninja. The Shackle's holding place, but no, the crit's through from Dahak. The Battle Fury doing some work, but now he needs to run because they're going to turn around and jump straight onto him. He can't escape, going down, looking for King R as well. It's going to skew away. Fanskull will be left behind, though. He says, come back. What are you doing, Rubik?
Oh. It was just a beautiful little dangle move there by Empire, showing the Magnus with a couple heroes sort of smoke behind him. You don't necessarily anticipate that that's going to be a power move there on the side of Gambit, and it really caught them off guard that the supports were in such... You think that the supports are probably somewhere nearby, but you don't necessarily know that those supports are going to be in perfect counter-initiation position the moment you initiate.
And that was, in fairness, that was a bad situation for Empire because Dream, I don't think he intended to end up on top of the cliff there.
No, he definitely did not, but they made the best of it, man.
They did. It wasn't exactly the best use of your Shadowblade reveal at first, but courtesy of that Magnus. And, well, as a result, Empire, they give a preview to the lockdown that awaits Timbersaw in these following fights.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that PL build, because I'm not necessarily completely sold on this Diffusal Shadowblade in a vacuum, but I actually quite like it in this game. Right?
Yeah,
I
you
think
go for Silver Edge, right? Like it's
exactly. You go for the not only do you go for the Silver Edge now has some nice stats built in on a hero that really wants a stat item after the Diffusal anyway, and you've got this Lone Druid that's kind of your safe lane position carry. Your PL is defaulting more to a playmaker in this game.
Excuse me. But no, I think the other thing to kind of highlight here is with the Empower, you just get so much value out of the Shadowblade. With the attacks being damaged, your DPS goes through the roof.
Good. That's a good point too. I really like that point in terms of the way that they're going to be approaching fights. That they're going to have this PL that's empowered, sort of coming out of the blue, as it were. And he now has the potential, like you said, with that Silver Edge, he now has the potential to jump on these two big cores, the Timbersaw and the PA, that ordinarily don't have to worry about being jumped on at this point in the game.
And that's the thing. In this type of game, it's not about like people talk about the heart always on PL. It's nice to have eventually. But this game is a race to kill someone quickly because you are up against the Phantom Assassin.
Yeah, and I think it's anytime, you know, it's one of those sort of the best defense is a good offense. Right? Anytime you're talking about a hero like PA that's used to jumping on other people, if you can make her feel threatened.
I don't want to upset you, but something just happened to the Roche bit. It's the double damage.
Oh, Ice Frog, please, man. You got it. I hate that.
With the Empower as well. This is as quick as the PA we saw yesterday, actually. Almost.
I mean, yeah, at least it's not like a Terror Blade that all of a sudden you have like 800 base damage, but still, that's...
But it's a silver
I really
HPL,
dislike that.
and
because it's at a pivotal point in the game, and it's just demoralizing. Right? Oh, okay, well, we thought we were in position. Oh, nice. Okay,
all right, that's half of King R's HP pull straight away.
Bonus kill.
Yeah, they get Van's core in the jungle as well, so they just try and split up and lose both their supports. And now they'll lose a tier 2.
This Lone Druid he's going to have, oh my god, he's going to have Daedalus, MKB,
Jesus.
and 3 Wraith Bands. Okay.
So, something we didn't actually talk about early, like, he's starting to get rid of them now, but PL only had 2 Wraith Bands. I know a lot of people, like, think you just go 3-4. There's a reason. There's a reason he didn't.
Pigeon, are you gonna flame somebody for only building 2 Wraith Bands?
No. I'm explaining because everyone's gonna be like, oh, you know, you could have more Wraith Bands. He hits hard early, it makes sense. But there's a reason he didn't, and it's if you go for a wand, you shouldn't. You know, it's like slot allocation. You're against a PA. Oh, RP committed to skewer back, and now trying to jump in. Doom gets hexed up. The Chain Frost bouncing through. They try to escape, but no. Alpha Ninja, he's the only one left. The hack goes in with the BKB, but it doesn't matter. They hit too hard, and the Timber cannot escape quick enough. It's gonna get ran down here. The right click should overwhelm him, but they decide against it. They say just go back, hit the buildings, because GG's been called. And Empire.
And that's... Woo! I mean, to be fair, like, it's given an interesting game to talk about, so I didn't want to say it, but this game's been over for like 5 minutes. I mean, the minute I saw that Lone Druid putting in with 4 Wraith Bands and the MKB and what it was going to be able to do this Gambit lineup, it's just this is one of those where I don't think you looked at the draft and necessarily said, okay, this thing is over, Empire's definitely going to win. But when you look at the fact that it was Gambit that needed to get off to the lead in the laning phase, and then you looked at the itemization decision on the side of Empire Hope, this was a very, very nicely, strategically executed game by them.
I think it's kind of, when you look at it, specifically at the PA, I'd say, is he got the BKB. If he had it 4-5 minutes earlier, the game would have been different. But for that to have been the case, he would have been snowballing because he had to go for that Battle Fury just to get that BKB quick enough. A Desolator wouldn't really have changed anything, I don't think, in this mid game because every time he would have jumped on the Lone Druid, he would have been scared away.
Yeah, that's the big thing, right? Is that you this was a game where because the Lone Druid and the PL were both doing fairly well, and the rest of the heroes, I mean, they're kind of low value kills by comparison. Getting that Desolator, you're not necessarily going to be able to jump on that one high value target. I still don't know if I agree with the Battle Fury. I'll have to actually go watch the replay of this match a little bit later because I think that you can farm pretty well with the Deso too on your PA. Remember now that you can switch targets after your Phantom Strike, you actually farm decently well without the Battle Fury. It does get you to the BKB quicker, but again, you have to sort of think forward, and you have to recognize that by the time you have that BKB, they don't need to disable you anymore to kill you because they're going to have that build on Lone Druid and they're going to have Silver Edge on PL.
No, I think I agree. Like, basically, they've given the most favorable scenario. That fight top, while it did go against them, we saw the PA jump in at one point and almost wipe the team. They all got so low from the cleave because they were all stacked hard. And that is like the best scenario the PA was ever going to get if you wanted to fight with IM.
No, this is something like when I was first learning Dota, by pure chance, I happened to talk to Draskell. And he said to me something that I would never forget. He was like, just if you want to play Dota well, you just always think about who you threaten and who threatens you. How many heroes will it take to kill me in what place? And how many heroes will it take me to kill somebody else in what place? And that's sort of classic how PA had to be thinking in this game.
As a result of that, Empire are 1 game up. Looks like they are enacting vengeance fiercely against Gambit after that 2-0 loss. But just like that 2-0 loss, these are best of 3s. This could go any way. We could end up going to a 3rd game. There's definitely potential from each of these sides. We're going to go to a short break. Then we'll be back with game 2 to find out if this is going to be a stomp or if Gambit have a little bit of fight left in them.